A long, long time ago, in the shiny kingdom, some people lived happily on the top of a mountain. But the dark forces of greed and capitalism crept up among them, and some inhabitants decided to build a shiny new train, which would cut straight through the kingdom, destroying all that lay in its path. When Frank and Brandon found out the wives had been secretly funding this train, they immediately separated and moved in with each other. Since human children were no longer available, they adopted a sentient toothpaste and named her Toothpaste. In the following years, the mountain became Memory Mountain. It consisted only of the fond memories of mountains. All real land had been destroyed, and nothing survived but the magical protector whale, who had a special relationship with several local folks. For reasons unknown, the whale was put to sleep by the train constructors. Unable to cope with the loss of his natural habitat, Brandon fell into a stage of heavy drinking. So Toothpaste was mostly bought by Frank, who took her on daily mountain walks, where she absorbed happy memories of mountains and learned that humans were wrong. Frank, despite being human, knew this to be true. Toothpaste grew up long and soft, with a minty taste and a love of plastic-free fashion. Frank, who was a trans man, briefly stopped taking testosterone and chose to become pregnant with another baby. One day, Frank and Toothpaste returned home to the forgotten smell of coffee. It seemed the drinking stage was over. It seems the other dad had found a new way of dealing with his pain. In the living room stood a huge delivery box. Toothpaste excitedly looked inside, but under the glossy tissue paper, she saw the shape of cutlery. Brandon was starting a blog about spoons, the kind of spoons he believed to be most correct. What was a correct spoon? Toothpaste had no idea. Knowing she would not be disturbed for the rest of the night, Toothpaste went upstairs to touch herself. We cannot be sure, but it's likely she fantasized about starting a different family. When she came down for breakfast the next day, her father was still awake, and she wondered if this would become another addiction. Frank was nowhere to be found, and Toothpaste went to see if she could find a friend to talk to. Outside it was eerily quiet, and the ground felt more memoryish. Thicker, more full of memory? Was this the memory of people going outside? Toothpaste dreaded to think where they would be. Back at home, the smell of coffee intensified. Her father had clearly not slept. Toothpaste brewed him a large cup of chamomile tea and took over the blog while he napped. She had still not seen the spoon, but she didn't need to. School had taught her to be good at bullshit. Frank was napping too. She suspected he had been involved in the nighttime blogging. When it was almost exam time, Toothpaste came downstairs for a revision snack and saw Frank huddled in the corner next to the fridge. This was fairly normal. The pregnancy was giving him strong cravings. But then she noticed the spoon he was eating with. Suddenly, it clicked. Her father's blog was based on a lie. All the die-hard followers who read his hourly content on the theme of correct spoon had been deceived. The spoon was incorrect. It was, in fact, a fork. Toothpaste let out a loud wail. A wail loud enough that it was heard by the magical protector whale who had been put to sleep in the polluted sea around Memory Mountain. And when the whale woke, it knew one of his forks had been inside the mouth of another male. Angry beyond belief, the whale unprotected Memory Mountain, and life was over for its inhabitants. Toothpaste died a minty death, and the whale brushed his teeth with her remains. He was clearly not a vegan.